Okay, good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Ryan. I'm the staff member that works here at City Hall, and that's also a member of the tree board. First, we're going to call roll. Sam is absent. Logan?
Here.
Here. Skylar?
Yes, sir.
Robert, or do you go by Eric? Eric?
Here.
Tyler?
Here.
Gabriella? Here. Here. Let's do this here. Okay, we sent out the minutes from the last meeting. Did you guys have a chance to look at all of those? Anybody want to make a motion?
Approve.
Motion, second.
Second.
Are you keeping minutes then, since we don't actually
Keeping this right now.
We'll vote.
Sorry.
Okay, that brings us on to old business. Discussion of the fruit tree plantings. Do we guys have an update on that?
So this is related to a $2,000 grant that we received last year from the Interfaith Power and Light organization, I think that's right. And we went to plant fruit, the grant was to plant fruit trees at the McGee Center. They kind of near the community garden, but not in the community garden. And we have reached out to Bemis Tree Farm to see about availability of some specific fruit tree cultivars that should perform well in this area. They have not yet gotten back to us with that availability list, but the plan is to get those in, to actually plant those like late winter, early spring of this year. So hopefully we can get those soon. And the idea is it'll be kind of a food forest that, you know, the public can harvest from.
I know we're gonna have to have some sort of signage to delineate. I think either me or Skylar are gonna get with transportation, was it? To see if they could do some sort of signage for us.
Let's see if they can make us a sign.
Yeah, so we'll work on that
Okay.
while we're waiting on it. Okay, cool. Brick pavers at Laurel Park. I know Tracy had sent an email about that. Do you guys remember what it said?
It was something like, what was it, Spencer at the physical plant would do those once a year. I think they had 22 that were already, so we're kind of throwing you guys into a bunch of stuff. Y'all have no idea what we're talking about. But so they do a brick paver deal where you can, instead of doing a like memorial tree for a loved one or something like that, we just now do a brick. It's like $50 for it. And those are over at Laurel Park. I don't know if the initial ones ever got put in. I think we're waiting.
They're done. It's related to, we used to have a memorial tree program, but those are really hard to maintain because if a tree dies, it's really painful to the family. And it's not just memorial trees, it was also other like dedicated
Sponsorships and
trees and stuff. And so now people can make a donation to what we call the Conway Tree Grove, like public tree grove. They get a brick and those funds go to support tree planting and maintenance in public.
Which currently I think we have about 100 left. I think they had 120 something, if my memory serves me well. But whenever we want to sell those or however we go about doing that, we'll just get with Spencer at Physical Plant and just select a day.
I think we'll just update that once a year though. It'll be like around Arbor Day, which Arbor Day for the city of Conway is always the first Saturday in November.
Yes. And for us, that'll be like our biggest, that's our Super Bowl per se. If there's ever a day that you're gonna miss, don't let that be the one.
Yeah, we're gonna put that in your calendars now.
Have you guys been out to Arbor Day before? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. In the grant update, we'll go into it more next time. We were awarded a $250,000 grant from the official organization.
It's the Arkansas Department of Agriculture.
Arkansas Department of Agriculture, so we have some big plans there. But next meeting we can go into that a little bit and explain what our plans are and what we look to do moving forward. Membership list I've given you all. We have 3 new members. Welcome. Eric, Tyler, Gabriella. If you have questions, contact the three of us. We should be able to help you out. Do you guys want to talk about meeting dates or do you want to move? Let's move that.
I don't know that we all introduced ourselves actually.
Let's introduce ourselves.
So I'm Krista Quinn. I'm the Faulkner County Extension Agent for Horticulture. So my office is right downtown behind the Central Fire Station. And I'm a certified arborist, and I'm not like a voting member of the tree board, but I'm an advisor to the tree board.
I'm Logan Pryor. I work for Conway Corporation. The bylaws say that we need someone from Conway Corp here, both to give information to you guys and everyone else in the city of Conway related to tree stuff that we do, then also just get information back from the tree board back to Conway Corporation.
My name is Skylar Swope. I am a voting member, but I also work for the Conway Parks and Recs Department. So we do something very similar to what Conway Corp does. We usually have a member from Parks and Rec who will be here, or city staff who will be here that's a voting member.
And then you might just tell us like why you wanted to be on the tree board, like your name and why you wanted to.
I'm Tyler Moses. I am in downtown Conway. You've actually been to my house to look at a tree like about a year ago. I moved to Conway about 2 years ago. I'm a huge plant fanatic and big tree fan, so that's why I'm here.
Hey, trees.
I'm Gabriella. I'm a student at UCA right now, but I've been in Conway my whole life. I find it really interesting, and I really wanted to be involved.
Glad to have you.
Ryan, you can go. No, you go.
Yeah, you already introduced
I want to do a full introduction though.
My name is Eric Bell. I've always been very invested in the city of Conway, especially since we moved here back in, I think it was 2011. It might have been, actually it was 2009, I think. That's not important. I've been in horticulture and landscaping my whole life as a hobby and sometimes as employment. And I'm really interested in maintaining our tree line here in Conway. I know a lot of the older trees have been falling over the past few years. So I really wanted to get involved and help serve the city in that facet.
And I'll do it now. I'm Ryan Robeson. I'm the Assistant Director of Planning and Development. I'm here all day. If you have any questions, want to stop by, please do.
He answers his email really
I
well.
answer my emails quickly. My phone number is my work phone. You can call me whenever. Let's move meeting dates down to after the election of new officers. I will nominate. Can we make nominations? I'll nominate Skylar as our next president.
Hello.
You were formerly the secretary, right? Didn't you
So
last year?
last year I was technically the vice chair, but
Vice
then they
chair.
kind of moved that position
Chair,
around.
that's the word, not president.
And then the first year I was secretary, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skylar would be great.
So do we second it or?
Yeah, you can second it.
So right now we are in what they call a quorum, so as long as we have at least half of, is it still half now that we're at 6, or do we need to have more than half? We need to have at least 4, is that the deal? As long as we have 4 or more, we can actually vote on stuff. If we don't have 4 or more, then we technically can't vote, we can just discuss. So right now we have to fill our president, our vice president, our secretary. So the way it'll work is you can nominate someone from the board, that can include yourself, and then if we get a second, then we will stick with that position. So for Ryan, if you would like for me to be your your chair for this year, if someone can second that, and then we can move to our next position and so forth.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Vice chair.
I know she is not here, but I would have nominated Sam for that one.
Can we vote somebody in who's not here?
Yes. We voted the last planning commission secretary who wasn't at the meeting.
Sam would also be good at that. Sam is in her, is it her 3rd year or second?
Yeah,
year?
they're both
So you guys are both 3rd year,
Mm-hmm.
which the sad part is that means they can only do this for 1 year.
I'll
You're also
second it.
3rd year? We're gonna lose all of you guys at the same time?
Man.
Yeah. I can second it.
Cool.
All in favor?
Hi.
Those opposed? Secretary, this will be who keeps up with the minutes. It's not that hard. It's once a month. Nominations or volunteers?
Discussion?
I can do the minutes. I don't have an issue with that.
Okay, great.
So Tyler for minutes. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. All right, Mr. Chair, it's your floor.
Oh, sweet. So as far
That's
as
why you
all
went
of
into
our,
like, let's get
as
this.
far as all of our documents go, we have a pretty good Google Drive that we will share with everybody, and that'll have like everything in it, and that'll be our main source of like communication. So even from all of our social media marketing and all that stuff, we will throw everything in that Google Drive. That way there's 100% transparency on what we're doing. And then for Tyler, for like the minutes and stuff like that, I'll make sure that you know where like our meetings are, or like our agenda meetings files will be, and then all of our minutes will be at, and that way you can easily, even if it's just like a copy and paste thing, you'll see that I'm just making little notes here. So like your first one will for sure help you, but we'll just include like stuff like, hey, who seconded this, who all in favor, all that kind of stuff. As far as our meetings go,
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry. Attendance. You've got the Article 1 and 2 of the bylaws. A big thing is attendance. You get 3 misses in a rolling year. On the 4th one, you get the boot. So as long as you stay within 3 absences, which this board is usually okay with because we take some time off usually in the summer, just don't miss more than 3 times. And once you get to the 3rd one, you will get a notification. So just so you know.
and once again, that's a revolving, so it's not from like January 1st to December. So if you miss your first one in April, from April of 2025 to April of 2026, you're allotted 3 absences.
So say you miss November, December, January, then if you miss that February, you'd be gone, even though it's a different calendar year. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so once again, our meetings are the first Monday of every month at 4:30.
Except we do take some breaks lately.
Yes, so we've done those. We can vote on those, on what days we want to take off. I'm trying to remember which ones we canceled last year. I know we canceled July.
Yes.
And then what were some other ones?
June, maybe?
We do July and June.
I think we took 2 months off in the summer.
There were 2 in the summer.
That makes the most sense. Because in August is probably when we come back and start getting everything ready for.
We kinda need that time for Arbor Day.
And then December, we don't really do much in December.
So first Monday of every month, June, except for June, July, and December.
So this would be where we would vote if you guys are good with us changing our bylaws for this year to give us June, July, and December off, where we will not have a meeting. That way, if you guys are planning vacations or stuff like that, you're not hindered by having to be here, so that way you don't have your absences all messed up. So that would be open to voting, so I will first that.
Second.
Anyone opposed to that? Alrighty. So we will take off June and July and then December, and then if we find it that we need to have, we can always have more meetings. So once we get towards like Arbor Day, like I said, that's our big event there. If we ever feel like we need to meet again for an additional meeting, all we have to do is just make sure City Hall gives a, was it 2 hour or is it 2 week?
It's hours.
We just have to give an official notice, and that usually will be through City Hall. We'll post that online or something. Because once again, any kind of meetings like that all have to be done where there's at least audio recording of that. Let's see, what's our,
So September 1st is the holiday. And it's a Monday. So we might wanna move
So, yeah, that'll
September
go-
1 to the 2nd.
it'll go to that first one that we're actually, the city's open.
Can I ask again what City of Conway Arbor Day is?
So that would be like it's the first Saturday of November,
So it will be the 1st of November,
November 1st this year.
which means we have a tree board meeting the Monday after. Which I think we did that this year too.
Yes.
It's actually kind of nice, cause it's all
Have a
fresh in your
wrap up.
mind.
And if we need to have a meeting here or there, we can always,
Yeah, you can add meetings. Sometimes we do little committee meetings or something if you need it, but it all has to be here in this room and recorded.
Okay, so once again, he's sent you guys all the bylaws. The absence is a big deal, and the other thing is when you're talking about the tree board, like, so technically, let's say me and Tyler go outside and we start talking about the tree board, that is technically considered a meeting, and we cannot do that. So if you have questions or anything like that, the best thing to do is just do everything via email, and make sure that you include Ryan in those. Once again, Ryan is you're not a voting member, correct?
I am now.
Okay, cool. But once again, Ryan is staff, and so that's a huge component of that. And that way we are in conjunction with all of our FOIA laws. Just basically, if you have questions about that, just send stuff in emails. That'll be the easiest thing moving forward. So we do a couple of events every year. The biggest one that we do is our the biggest one is obviously Arbor Day. But then we also will do a spring tree giveaway. And that is where we will order a bunch of saplings. Sometimes we get those also donated to us, and we literally just will give out trees to citizens. We need to decide on a day for that.
I have a recommendation based on when the trees will be here.
Perfect.
I was hoping to do the tree giveaway on March 22nd. It's a Saturday. It is the Saturday before spring break, but that's when we've been doing, or when we did it last year too.
March 22nd. And we would still do that over there at y'all's spot.
So I just have to, we've been doing it at the Faulkner County Museum, that log cabin, just because they've got a nice covered porch and stuff, and it seems to work out well. It's nice because it's right next to the extension office where I work, and so we have bathrooms and that sort of thing too. So I'll just have to ask, but I think it would probably be okay. Is that a date though, because we really do need help on that day. It's busy. It's only about 2 to 3 hours usually that we.
Yeah, but it's a quick,
It's
once you get there.
busy. We had a line like around to the courthouse last year before we even started. So we go give away, I think we've got 900 trees ordered right now for that. And then sometimes we do get some donations also. So we give away a lot of trees in a couple of hours.
And usually what that looks like I said, we'll have a good handful of species and varieties there, and then we will usually have little handouts of like, hey, how to plant a tree, stuff like that. And then typically we'll ask somebody to make us some kind of little flyers or something that could be like, hey, what these species look like. That way some people may not know what like a mulberry is going to look like when it blooms or something, and that may be a deciding factor on which tree they take. Or they may not know what tree is best if their yard is super wet or something like that. So we'll usually make some kind of flyer or something.
I think we
that
called it a
shows.
menu last year.
It pretty much is what it was.
Because it was laminated, so they could pass it on to people in line or whatever after they decided.
Typically, we don't put a big like restraint on how many you can get. It just depends
We
on
have
the certain
had-
species. We will do that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was last year.
Like last couple of years, pine trees, Green Bay Packaging has been nice enough to donate a ton of those to us. And I mean a ton. I mean like you can literally just go in a bag and grab a fistful, and it won't make a dent in them. You can, like, if you want pine trees, you're good.
Yeah, you can take as many pine trees as you want.
And once again, these are just little saplings, so you're talking about something like yay tall, super.
So how's that different from there's like 5 or 6 options, you get an email a week or two before?
Is that that's the fall
So that's the Arbor
giveaway,
Day one.
the Arbor
Okay.
Day giveaway, and those are potted trees. So the difference is in the spring, they're actually bare root seedlings.
Okay.
So they're very inexpensive. We do buy them. We get a donation from Conway Corporation, which we need to ask for that also?
I was gonna bring that up.
Okay. And so that the funds that they provide help us pay for those. But they're less than $1 a piece, I think. Yeah. So very inexpensive. And we don't expect that they all survive, but a fair number. I've been to people's houses and they'll have like 8 of them in their backyard. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just didn't understand if people were coming here, showing up and saying, I got this tree.
We
and this
don't
is the one
reserve
coming."
these, so yeah, with the potted trees, we have only had 100 at a time. And so we had to do like reservations for those
Because those are much more expensive.
yeah, and they cost more.
But if everyone's good with that, then we can go ahead and set that for March 22nd. Obviously, we'll make sure we get approval to utilize the
Yeah.
cabin over there.
We've been doing it in the morning, like from
9 to noon.
9 to noon, yeah. And it is often cold, but you do have a cover. It's that time of year when the weather's transitioning.
And then if we get closer, we'll look at some options if we're gonna have inclement weather or something like that,
Right.
which knock on wood, we've been good the last couple of years. So I guess we will vote on that if everyone's good with March 22nd for that.
So I make a motion.
Second.
There we go, cool. All right, then we've already talked about Arbor Day, so like I said, that'll be November 1st. And then, so now we need to decide about, usually what we do with Arbor Day is we will always plant a tree. The last couple of years, we've kind of done that on the day of, and sometimes that works out really good, and sometimes we wish we would have planted it just whenever we dug the hole. So now the question will become like some ideas of where we want to plant the tree, and then where we want to host it. Typically, we've always hosted it at Laurel Park the last couple of years, but that is not like a hard set thing. The Parks Department is usually pretty good about if we want to use a park for that day, we can.
Because we need to get it on the Parks Department
Yeah.
schedule, right?
So, I mean, that could be something we do at Beaver Fork, we could do that at Fifth Avenue, Laurel Park, you name it. So that'll be kind of an open discussion there. And then if that's something that you guys want to take home today, and then we really vote on that, and next meeting we can, everything doesn't have to be completely set in stone today. That way you can have time to kind of think about and actually share your input on what you want to do. But that is something that we do need to think about. The date, however, is set. So November 1st, that'll be a Saturday. That'll happen for sure. So in the next 2 meetings or so, we need to really pinpoint a time or a date, or excuse me, a place, location. We need to pinpoint a location for when we want to do that, and then we can start getting together and figure out what kind of tree we want to plant and stuff like that. Once we get closer to Arbor Day, this will probably be more towards our like August meeting. That's when we'll really start splitting up and essentially making sure that everyone's kind of contributing to that, because that'll be a deal where we get, volunteers, there's usually food there, we'll get vendors, stuff like, your Boy Scout troops to do your colors for your flag and all that kind of stuff. And then obviously, just because we've done it a certain way doesn't mean we have to continue doing that. I'm not a big person on we do this just because that's the way it's always been. So once again, this is where if you have ideas for what you want to do with that kind of event, especially with that being our biggest event, feel free to bring those to the table. Obviously, I don't expect you to have those today, so just over the next 2 months or so, we'll try to have that set in stone by March. Another one of the events that we've done the last couple years is the yoga under the trees. Typically that consists of us picking a date for about 3 or 4 months in a row where we'll go to different locations and literally just have yoga under the trees. This is an event that I think a handful of people attend. And if yoga is your thing, you love it. If yoga is not your thing, you may check it out, you may not.
And that's one that we wouldn't have to do if our interests are somewhere else. Because we've had good attendance at some and not at others, and we can't quite figure out what what makes a good yoga under the trees event. So
that'll be another thing.
the idea is just, kind of, it's like a tree appreciation event, basically.
And if you guys come and you think, between now and next meeting, you have a different idea that you want to present, please do.
Yeah.
We can.
When is that one?
So that we've kind of done in the summertime, so that one doesn't have like a real hard date.
It's been, it's often, because it only takes an hour to do a yoga session, so it's, I think we did like one in April, one in May, and one in June.
Yeah.
We usually get at least one that rains out.
And one gets rained out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, it's coming up with some ways that we
If
can.
it's really, really hot, people don't show up.
Ways that we can engage with the community, because a lot of people, including yourselves, may have not known that we had a tree board. And then obviously with the tree board, we want to just encourage people, you know, with education and stuff like that. And sometimes the best way to do that isn't just to stand outside and just give people a book about how to grow trees. So feel free to get creative with any kind of ideas that you are thinking about.
We've done
We always
guided
kinda do.
hikes before. That was usually like a first day hike we did at Cadron Settlement. We did that a few years. You know, we've talked about other type, like class type things that you could do. Like you could do like nature journaling or art or, you know, different things like that you could do like in a park-like setting, some way to encourage people to appreciate our trees.
Like I said, feel free to get creative, come up with some ideas, and then we'll kind of talk about more of what we want to do for 2025 as far as actual events go next meeting. Another one to keep in mind though is Art Walk. So Art Walk is a deal that, who actually puts that on? That's because that's not,
It's the downtown,
Downtown.
or is it the art?
No, it's,
no, it's not the Art Board. That's why I was like, who puts it on? You would think it's the Art Board, it's not.
it's the
Downtown
downtown.
partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's another one that we've done a couple times. I think the last one that we did, we had like this big tree where people could come and basically like, was it their handprint? Is that what it was?
Yeah, they can make a leaf and color it
Yeah.
in, or it's more for kids than anybody.
So that'd be something that we could do again as far as Art Walk goes.
And that could
or-
just be one art walk or 3 art walk, you know, they have them monthly, so it could be one event or it could be multiple events.
So we could look at something like that as well. So biggest takeaway for there is just to think about some ideas that you would like to see or that you would hope that we do. And we'll bring those to the table.
And if you have
We can
some
kind of iron
totally
those out.
different idea, bring it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, dude, you could go to the disc golf tournament, all kinds of stuff, dude. That doesn't matter.
I thought about disc golf.
No
I
matter.
think it'd be kind of fun. That's his thing.
Yeah, I'm an avid player, but just because I like it doesn't mean I'm trying to get everybody to go and do it.
Is Beaver Fork in our purview?
So what?
Yeah,
Beaver Fork in our purview, it's the finest disc golf course there is.
yeah, so it's a city
Yeah,
park,
it's a city park.
so, yeah, and
It will make you wanna
Cadron
cut it.
Settlement is a city
It almost
park.
does a negative effect though. You want to cut down the trees when you.
Oh, because they get in the
The
way?
trees aren't
Oh,
your
yeah.
friend.
But don't you like the
The back
shade?
nine's a little.
You like the
wicked.
shade, yeah. And then if you get a good kick, if the disc goes the way you want it to, you love the trees, but
Have you gone to the Beaver Fork Park before to do disc golf?
I don't know that I've played disc golf there, but I mean, I've seen lots of people.
Once you go into the back nine and you get into the inside tree holes, you see all of the pine trees back there, just divots all over them.
Oh, so maybe it's not very good for the trees.
All the
you
trees.
can see like from me to Tyler, you'll just see a tree just look like a samurai sword. Just
Yeah, it looks like somebody just sat there and just wailed on it.
Uh-oh. It's kind of like the hammocking, which, you know, people like their trees for hammocking, but it damages them.
The catch-22.
Yes.
Otherwise, Ron, I think that covers everything really on our agenda for this one. It puts us a little bit shorter than what we kind of normally expect. But like I said, this is more just kind of introduction and just kind of getting our feet wet with this. So unless we got anything else to add here.
If you guys have questions about any...
Yeah, read through your articles if you have any questions. Let me know. Just send me an email. Hopefully you won't.
I do think the tree board will have a role, and like Brian said, we'll talk about this, but I do think the tree board will have a role when we start this grant to work on the urban forest management plan, because there will be some community meetings and things like that.
Yes, there will be.
And so that would be something that, you know, would be really good if the tree board participated in.
Definitely. That'll be a real big thing. I know that doesn't really mean too much to some of you right now, but that's like a huge get for the board. There's just so much more that has to be done before that gets presented to us. That's kind of hard to really talk about it. Because that's going to go through a whole process through the city.
Hard to say even what the time frame will be.
Yeah, you could be at the end of the year or it could be next year. You have no idea.
The wheels turn slow.
They do.
Yes. Well, cool. And then if no one else has any questions, like I said, just brainstorm on some ideas. What you got?
Yeah. for our annual donation, Tracy would send that like, January every year. So when you send that request for our donation, if you could also, however it's documented, like where all the money went like this past year and all the things like this many trees, this event here,
Like
all
an
that kind of
expense
stuff. Yeah, just like this is what it's going towards. And then a list of all the events that we put on last year. Would be good.
Which Tracy actually
Tracy has that
completed a
year-end
report for
thing.
the city at the end of the year,
Yes.
so it could almost probably be the
We'll
same.
double check
Probably
those
is.
between me and Ron. We can find it
Yeah.
like
Okay.
Google Drive. And then we will get with I guess Bobby's the main one that we get with now for all of our social media stuff, right?
Yes.
So all of you guys will get access to the tree boards like Facebook and Instagram and stuff. And that way everyone can kind of contribute there. Feel free to answer some questions or anything like that. Just know that you are answering on a public board that is with the city. So please keep that in mind that you are essentially representing the city whenever you are making those kind of posts. So don't do anything too wild and crazy, because you can, while the public can't see who posted on the back end, we can see who posted all that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, just for the next couple of months or the next couple weeks or so, just come up with some ideas of some events that you're looking for that we can put on our calendar, and we can go from there. Otherwise, we can go ahead and a motion to adjourn. Our next meeting will be February 3rd.
Second.
Cool, all in favor?
There's a motion.
Awesome. Ron, if you wanna hit those, or Gabrielle, I can show you real quick, if you wanna hit those